All right, welcome back. Putting together my first electrical walkthrough video. Today we'll be walking through using HBHF sensors to open up multiple doors. Really just navigating how we power all that, and then kind of walking through how to tie multiple HBHF sensors into a single output or decision. But really, it's about the components. So we'll use some and/or switches. We'll use a memory cell here. We'll use some branches. So you'll kind of get an intro into a lot of different things. And it's really about learning how those components work, less so about the actual thing that we're showing working at the end of the day. So this server I play on, the Clinic Moda PvE revamped. So if you need any questions or you want to ask how certain things work, this is probably where you'll find me. Just look for Venom TTV or join the Discord. You'll find me there as well too. So jumping into it, we'll start here with the actual HBHF sensor as I already put together. And we want to open all three doors, right? And so the normal setup for an individual would be, I'm going to take my power, just going to run it here. I'll take this over here. This will be some sloppy wiring. Where's my power in? Cool. Here's my power out. Let me put my door controller on here. Unlock my door. Pair it. Relock my door. Kaboom. Right? So one door is connected, but now I want to do these other two. Right? And so how does that work? Well, first, let's pair these up. Unlock my lock, pair the door, relock my lock, and we're done. Right? So now I'm going to take my pass-through. I'm going to run my pass-through down to the next data in. But as you can see, it's not opening the door, right? Now I'll go to my third. So even though I have these doors hooked up and they're paired, it's just they're not opening, just like this first one is. Maybe it's because the first one already worked. Maybe this one doesn't. I'll try it again. Nope, it's just opening one door. And that has to do with the fact that the branch is only emitting 2 power, right? And so if I were to go here, I would say like, hey, give me 4 power. Still not working, right? So that's interesting, right? Like, why isn't this actually working, and how can I get it to work? So I do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to take my output. I'm actually not going to connect it to my door controller. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this first branch, which could just stay back at 2, and have that first branch going to feed the HBHF sensor. Cool beans. And then I'm going to have the output come back and meet at a memory cell on the toggle function. Because what I'd like to do is anytime that HBHF sensor hits the way it should, I want it to toggle something to help open all those doors. And we'll get to that in a second. So all we have right now is power from here into my branch, and my branch turns on my HBHF sensor. Cool beans. We're going to tie these other branches together, right? We have 3 branches now. That's your HBHF sensor. What I'm going to do is take this other branch out, and I'm actually going to tie it to this timer. And then I'm going to take this other branch out. I'm going to tie it to the memory cell. Right? This way now I'm powered on a memory cell, I'm powered on my branch, or I'm powered on my timer, and I got everything else powered up. So my toggle here has an output, and I want my output to hit this timer. So now the way we've set this up is now that HBHF sensor will pick up something. It'll toggle this memory cell, and the memory cell will flip the timer. Now the output of the timer will go into the door controller. But it only opened one. Why did it only open one still? What is the issue? Well, the issue is that your door controller, like your output from your timer, is going to match the input power that is coming in. So I'm only sending 2 power into this branch or into this timer. So because of that, I'm going to put 1 power into here, and I'm going to put 1 power into there, right? Which is why, like, I can't open my other doors. So that's part of your problem. I actually think something might be funky here. There we go. Let's rehook that back up. There we go. Now let me go to my pass-through. There we go. Okay. All right, cool. Had to rehook that. Now, the point is that I only have 2 power from this branch right here going into that, which means 1 power goes there and 1 power leaves to go there. So I need to actually increase the power here. We're going to set this to 5. Sure. And just like that, everything now has power. And after a few more seconds, they should all close. Done deal. And so that's how you fix that, right? And so the way that I would set these up on garage doors, let's say you're trying to drive your car in. I drive my car up. I have my ramps here. I can drive my car in. You can set your timer to whatever you like. But get in, park my car, and then my doors will close right behind me. So that's an easy way to power like multiple door controllers. You can do them inside your house. You can use them for like I showed you here, on door controllers for garage doors, double doors, whatever you want. That's how you can power that up. Now moving into a little more of like an advanced state, right? I kind of cheated. I put this together for everybody, but sometimes I like to build like little pill boxes for like wipe day or purge day, little crazy traps or things of that nature. And so this one is like, I got this turret station, you could call it, in the middle. So behind every door is a turret. But what I'd like to have happen is as soon as like the advancing team gets close enough, like I just want all the doors to open. Because like for me, I don't want somebody to come to this side of the wall and start camping this door and tossing grenades in. I want to have full 360 coverage to make it as difficult as possible for somebody to take, I guess, to really advance on my base, right? So I have all these HBHF sensors, and basically what I want to have happen is if any of these heartbeat sensors pick up or detect movement that shouldn't be there, I want all these doors to open. I want this whole thing to open up, and I just want to flood the field with M249 fire or Python fire, whatever you want. Whatever gun you put in your turret. Have fun with it. So how should I set that up? Well, I set these up through... It's complex but simple at the same time. So I set them up with a series of AND switches, and then feeding a series of OR switches, which eventually hits the master OR switch, which opens this whole chamber up, right? And so what you have to think of is an AND switch is if 2 conditions are met, right? And condition A, condition B, like you can call it input A, input B. I would think of it as rule 1, rule 2, or condition 1, condition 2. Like the 2 things have to be true in order for this thing to turn green and then pass the power to the OR switch, right? And the OR switch is just saying you have, condition A, condition B, and I only care if one of them is met, right? And the same thing up there. And so basically, for every two things you're trying to tie together, you're going to need two AND switches and one OR switch. And then for every four, you need the two AND switches, the one OR switch, and then you need another OR switch in there. Or really, you just need this setup in total, right? So every four heartbeat sensors would be this. Every two would be, just half in reality. So we'll go ahead and set this up a little bit, and I'll walk you through it. I kind of, like I said, got a little bit of a head start. I'm going to use my test generator here. And what we're going to do first is power our first branch. All right, cool beans. So we have our first branch powered here. We're going to bring it here, bring it here, bring it there. And we're going to bring this one here, this one there. All right. Now we got our branches. Do I have my door controller set? Looks like I do, but it also looks like I have to. Interesting. Let's set all of our door controllers up. That's one. Easy peasy, that's two. That's three. And that's four. Okay, so now we have all these door controllers set up. So now I'm going to take this top row, and this top row on the branch outside is going to feed all of my heartbeat sensors. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take that guy. Take that guy. Take that guy. And last but not least, all right, cool. Now all of our heartbeat sensors are connected. All of our door controllers are connected. So we're making good progress, right? Now what we need to do is power these bottom switches here. I'm hoping I haven't cheated. I have cheated. All right, it's okay. Let me not cheat. There we go. I'm going to put these back to default. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Forgot I had queries hotkeyed in. What I'm going to do now is actually attach one of these power inputs into each one of the AND switches. Doesn't matter if it's input A. Doesn't matter if it's input B. There we go. And then we're going to take these AND switches and we're going to tie them into these OR switches, and then we're going to just complete the circuit. And then we're going to take this, we're going to feed it here, because at the end of the day, that OR switch has to turn on a bunch of stuff. So what we've done so far, right, is we have 4 HBHF sensors, so we have 4 AND switches. For every 2 AND switches, we need 1 OR switch. And for every 4, we need an extra OR switch. So that's our setup here. What we've also done is we've tied in all of our HBHF sensors with the blue wiring. And then we put power into all the AND switches with the bottom one, right? So the next step is to take the actual HBHF output and tie that into the other condition, right? So you have this condition here. We got that condition there. Yes. We'll have this condition here. I'm just going to run this all the way over. We'll take that one. All right. And now, as you can see, right, like if I just hover over here, you can see the bottom left switch went all green. So that what that's telling me is that on this end switch, my condition is met. And you can see that the one on the left in the middle row, the OR switch, has a bottom left is green. And then you can see on the top, the bottom left is green. So that means this signal is running all the way through to the top, right? So that means I've met a condition on the bottom, and then it hit a condition in the second row, and it hit a condition in the top row. So what we need now is for that top row to do something. And so that means all of these need to be tied to our door controllers, because that's what's going to ultimately open all the pillboxes. All right. Whoops. And now the one thing that you'll notice, right? Like, so now that all the wiring's done, but the problem is you can see that this branch is not getting any power. It's not doing anything, right? Like, why is that? Why are we not? Everything's plugged in, everything's working right, but there's no juice going to the actual output. Why is that? Well, the reason is because you're powering all of these, and you're putting 2 power into them. Then you're putting power into those, and then power into those. Like your 2 power that you get from your branch is basically feeding this line, and then there's no juice leaving the top to go in here. So what you have to realize is that you're going to need 4 power for the door controllers, 4 power for each of the branches, and then there's 3 power to keep the cycle moving in here. So your total power should be 11 plus the 2 that come with the branch, because you have that branch there, and I'm missing 1. But your total should be, I think, 13. But basically, it's like, how do you get the power to go from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on all those doors. And then there's 2 other power that I have to account for. One might be here, or it might just be the combining of things. So now I got 13 power running through all of these. What should happen is now all my doors open, because now I have the power going through my whole circuit board to the end. Now the problem is it's a drainer of power, right? Like this is 13, 26, like 52, plus this 8 is like another 60. You got like 60 power flowing through this, right? And then you got 4 turrets, that would be another 10. So you got like 100 power just set up doing this. But that's really how you would set this up at the end of the day, right? So let me clearly change this up for you guys. But that's the setup, right? So at the end of the day, I have a test gen. You'll need 60 power roughly to do this, minus the turrets, if you want to do a 4-way circle. But we run our power up here, which runs our HBHF sensors. We run our power here, which ties into the second component of the AND switch. And then we have our ANDs, ORs, till we hit the top, which then powers the doors, right? And just remember that, like, anytime you use these switches, this is where most people screw up. The reason things on the other side don't get powered is because the power going in here does not match the power needs, right? So just make sure that, like, because the output of this switch will always take the higher input. So your HBHF sensor will always give you 1. That's why you have to set this one to 13, because it's going to give you the most power, and that's what this will reflect. And it'll push that 13 all the way through your circuit board. If you didn't put that in place and you left it at the normal electrical branch 1 of 2, like, none of this would power. And that's usually where people fail, is they don't recognize that your power has to meet your whole output here. So that's about it. That is, the first one is doing an HBHF sensor that will power multiple garage doors. How do we set that circuit board up? It's not too hard. That's what it looks like at the end of the day. And then the other one is a little more complex, pulling together multiple HBHF sensors to make a decision for you. And then this is really what that circuit board would look like. So that's it. So if you have any questions, please reach out. My next video is going to be auto sortation and how I do that. Judge away on my really bad wiring skills, but I think as long as you got what I was doing here, I think that's the victory at the end of the day. So let me know if you have any other questions. Feel free to reach out to me on the Discord, Venom TTV. Join the server. You'll find me there as well too. Just ask away anything. I'm happy to come over and help walk you through any electrical questions that you might have, or industrial conveyance. But until next time, I'll see you later, Chads and Chadettes.